I can't breathe. Bitch, 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 I can't breathe.
Welcome to 9 o'clock live at the Noun Square. There's really no reason to play this song. It doesn't relate at all to the noun of the day, which is a donut. But I just had to play it because it's by Super Tight Woody, and it's super tight, man. If you didn't see it yet, I'll pin it shortly. Super Tight Woody's version of Snoop Dogg's I Can't Breathe, which he released recently as CC0 for remixing.
So I just pick my bands and put my other baby mamas, cause I'm cool with a baby dad. He understands the bitch won't let me fail. Bitch, I can't breathe. Bitch, I can't breathe. Bitch, I can't breathe. Bitch, I can't breathe. She hits me on FaceTime every fucking 5 minutes.
How is everybody doing this fine morning? Sam, I just saw on Discord that your dinner was just brought to you, and I wouldn't want you to.
I told them to take it back, and I'd get it later.
Wow, that's a big mistake.
I know it is a big mistake, but I can quietly eat it when I'm not talking.
All right. Well, welcome to 9 o'clock live at the Noun Square. We are super happy to have some amazing guests with us today. We've got Chris Coy and Mark Horowitz here with us today. They are going to talk to us and answer any and all questions that you may have about their prop worst case decision. Mark, how are you today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing amazingly well. Woody just entered here characteristically late. Missed the intro of his own song.
That's tough.
We just vibed to your remix on the intro here, Woody. You missed it. You'll have to listen back. Woody, you there? Earth to Woody.
He's connecting. Remember, he can't hear during connection.
It shows.
I think we got him up here.
But, whoa, now everyone's muted. Okay, we're off to a rough start here.
That wasn't me.
Why did I get muted?
Hey, Woody, what's up?
Woody. GM, y'all.
All right, I give up on Woody.
What's going on?
GM, Josh.
What up?
So we were just.
He can only speak in air horn.
That's that would be par for the course. So here's what we do here at 9 o'clock live. As the name might suggest, we gather here around 9 o'clock. Now, what is 9 o'clock, Sam Ellis?
9 o'clock is that magical time when we all gather together to witness the birth of a new noun on the blockchain. That typically happens at the end of an auction just before it's settled. And it gives us an opportunity to help pick the next noun in a little thing that we call FOMO.
That's exactly accurate. And if we look at the noun for today, noun 533, it's a nice sprinkly donut with some matching hip rose glasses and a DAO accessory shirt. When donut DAO, that's all I have to say. Am I wrong or am I right?
That's tasty. That's one of the few times you can use that word without irritating boomers.
Donut DAO? I didn't know that was...
No, tasty.
Donut time.
Donut time.
Sam, I'm staring at your steak.
Staring at your steak?
Yeah. It's in the other room, so I don't jump into it right away.
Hey, Woody, where were you for 10
ready.
minutes?
They were like,
where were you for 10 minutes when I was talking to you on the Spaces and you weren't replying?
Oh, I was getting rugged on my Wi-Fi.
Well, it would not be Twitter Spaces if at least one of us wasn't being actively rugged. So,
yeah.
Twitter is a flawless platform with no flaws.
I don't know if you heard or not, Woody, but we played your awesome remix of the Snoop Dogg song on the way in here. So
cool.
It's pretty
Awesome.
dope.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can you pin that on top as well in case people want to check it out?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that now.
Amazing.
Hell
So,
yeah.
so as I was saying, we've got this wonderful sprinkly donut, currently sitting at 25.55 ETH. Pretty cheap. We've seen some below 30 recently, but the cat was bought for above 30 recently. So what do you think, Sam? Are we going to get another bid? Al, do we have another bid coming in? What do you think?
If all things stay the same, I think we definitely have another bid coming in.
Ooh, alpha. That sounds like some little nouns. Alpha.
Yeah, I think we'll maybe hit 32.
Well, that's very specific. Why do you think 32?
It's higher than 31 and it's lower than 33.
You know what? It's a good.
Any other questions?
That's good reasoning there. So,
Thank
those
you. They
of
call
you-
me Captain Obvious.
For those who tune in with us every day, you'll notice that we're meeting today a little earlier before 9 o'clock than we normally do. Normally we're here about 5 minutes before 9 o'clock. We banter, we frantically run to go play FOMO together, and then we talk to our guest. But we flipped everything a little bit on its head today so that we'd have a chance to talk to the worst case decision folks in detail.
Yeah, this sounds like a worst case decision, huh, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's a best case decision to go over the worst case decision. You know, we're hoping for some balance in our life.
Nice.
And part of the reason why we did that is, of course, 8 p.m. on Mondays is the Milk and Cookie Show, one of the soapboxes that we host here for the Food Nouns community every single Monday at 8 p.m. So if all goes to plan, if all goes to the best case decision, we will be able to speak to these folks about their prop for some time before getting rudely interrupted by the auction finishing, in which case we will go and play a game called fomonouns and then a game called nomonouns. And then we'll give you a POAP, we'll send you on your way, and you'll have plenty of time to have a washroom break and then come back for milk and cookies. That's the plan. What do you think, Joshua? Sounds like a good plan, bad plan, worst case scenario?
It sounds like a good plan. I'm still waiting on that IRL milk and cookies invite though.
Well, you gotta show up for the soapbox, I think, 15 times before you get the IRL invite.
Ooh, makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So that's the format here. That's what we normally do. So essentially, we're just going to be chatting with our guest while we keep an eye on the auction. To do that and play along with us, you can go to nounoclock.app on your browser. It can be on your phone, it can be on your computer. 9o'clock.app, you'll see the beautiful donut noun on the left. You'll see the bids as they come in the middle, and you can even chat if you connect your wallet to other people who are watching at the same time. Once that auction ends, you're going to want to open a new tab right now and have this ready to go. fomonouns.wtf. That's what Sam was talking about earlier. Al, can you explain fomonouns in 30 seconds or less for our newbies?
Sure. So it's basically just a super fun game that we play. It is a glimpse inside of what noun would be born if the auction was settled on a specific block. So we have built out a game that allows us to upvote or downvote every block or every noun that is generated for each block. And if we as a group reach consensus, we get to pick the next block. Pick the next noun.
Yes, exactly. So it's pretty fun. It's one of the main reasons why we've had some very aesthetic nouns over the last year is because of this edition last December, and that allows us to pick the noun. So that's one thing we'll do. And then we noticed as we play this game every single day that oftentimes we try to pick a noun, and because we weren't quick enough, or we clicked the wrong button, or because Robot Fish Girl automatically downvotes every noun that crosses her screen, we may not get to mint the one that we really want. And so then we came up with this game called nomonouns. And so after FOMO, we're going to go to nomo.wtf, and you'll get a chance to basically rescue your favorite noun that we missed, that we weren't able to mint today. Super fun game. It'll really hurt your carpal tunnel because you got to click as many times as possible and basically Sybil attack the game to try to get yours to win. So that's the gamification that we have coming down the line for you later on the spaces. But let's jump right into the business of the thing, which is to talk to Mark and Chris about their current proposals. So I'm not sure who wants to take the lead here, Mark or Chris. Maybe give us a quick intro on yourselves and tell us about your prop.
I love it. Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Mark, and I'm working with Chris on here on this project called Worst Case Decision, which was the best name we could come up with. I just love saying it's the worst. So, it's these videos that I started making. I worked with like a bunch of characters and sort of inanimate objects in my work for a long, long time, man. So I figured just to give them personality and character. So we're making some seasons of these. I don't know. I described it as batshit hyper casual narrative that loosely follows a theme. It's like being on 12 shots of espresso and revisiting Nickelodeon, maybe. So I just want to really push this sort of narrative. I don't know, these narrative arcs with these like dumb characters like a rock or a cantaloupe or a frog or a Saint Bernard, and make some fun. And we would put the noggles on these dudes and whatever, man. We would just give them life. It's hard to just
hopefully there's no Saint Bernards listening right now and hearing you compare them to a rock. That would be really the worst case decision.
Oh. I have 2 Chihuahuas, which are quite the opposite of a Saint Bernard. They're the worst, man. Chihuahuas, man. I mean, God bless them, but they just bark and nip and whatever.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I guess like the project is it's these videos. There's 7 in a season, and each video is about 30 to 60 seconds long. And we randomly pick a main character, and then we pick 7 sort of episodic themes, everything from like obese Echo to Everyone is Wet to Hi-Fi Asparagus Rain to Mayonnaise Portal. And and then we just sort of shoot the episodes with that as a guide and have each episode has an arc with a season arc, and Bob's your uncle.
Can you explain a little bit about what's meant by a season of these episodes? Because it's a little bit different than what people might think of with some shows or other types of media.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't this isn't Yellowstone, for example. A season, not at all. It's like the furthest thing from.
But Netflix told me that if I enjoyed Yellowstone, I might enjoy Worst Case Decision. Is that incorrect?
Well, that is true. It is suggested. It's suggested watching. Also, if you want to watch the Peripheral, this also comes up as well. Season is like, whatever. It's just super fast. It's like accelerated television. So, there's 7 episodes, each being around 30 seconds to a minute. And that's it. We just pack as much shit in there as possible. I edit these first in iMovie because it's so stupid and dopey, and then sort of blow it out into like Premiere and After Effects and start bringing in a bunch of stuff from there. But, a lot of this sort of flavor comes from just the bad stuff that happens in iMovie. All the Ken Burns pushing and just awful transitions and all their sort of like generic sound effects. And then it's sort of just kind of layering like that, like you would sort of like a digital painting or something. So I don't know. So like, for example, there's a frog and a skeleton in an episode. The frog is the main character. Skeleton, it's a rom-com. Skeleton chokes on a bagel. Frog gives the skeleton CPR. They fall in love. They have a child. The child goes and buys guns and shoots bottles. Grandma dies, and they enter a mayonnaise portal. I mean, so that's an arc for you.
Or as we call it,
portal. I like it.
Mayonnaise portals. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, or as most people call it, Friday, right?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, just a typical Friday.
Dude, I don't know.
Definitely...
Monday feels like a mayonnaise portal today.
Oh my God, today it's awful. I ate some undercooked hamburger meat. So when you said mistake, I was like, yeah, I definitely made some fucking mistake today. Excuse my language, because I'm feeling horrible.
Apparently, you can eat beef more or less raw as long as it's good. So we'll hope for your health and hope that you'll be okay.
Yo, one of my favorite parts of the proposal is at the end of the video when you show the little stick figure guy, and you're like, this is what we're working with, guys. This is the quality. This is the bar.
I mean, you really, like, who needs Tom Cruise, man, when you can just like draw a character on a Post-it note? I mean, I think it's just like, I feel like it's like a magnet, like going on like a street in New York or something with a huge magnet, and you just pick up whatever you get. and then that's what you kind of work with. So, I just like go
But
to the
it,
thrift store and whatever.
it does go to show of like the beauty is in the idea and the execution, and not like the quality of the film. Though obviously in certain instances, like quality and all that stuff partly helps tell the story, but it's really like the creator and the message and the like connection between you and the audience.
Yeah, I mean, totally. The quality is I shoot everything on an iPhone just for like rapidity's sake, and I do want to move through it kind of like, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, like 7 Days to Air. Like I want to move through it very quickly, and that's hence why I'd use iMovie as well first, because I think like that sort of energy and that sort of playfulness and improvisation, will get lost if you just like write everything out and then shoot it and then bring it in and edit it perfectly. Like, I just don't think that's where this is at. And, hence worst case decision. It's kind of like ends up being the best case.
How would you describe the animation style? Either one of you can take that. It's not quite stop motion, but it's sort of similar, I guess.
I mean, yeah, again, it's like with stop motion, it's like it's a beautiful art. It's like, props to all the stop motion animators out there. I have not the patience for it. So, I bought these like green screen gloves and then ended up using a blue screen. So then you actually see the green screen glove moving the characters around. and I was just like, because the wrong gloves arrived, I was just like, forget it. Let's just do it. And it's actually like really funny. It's kind of like Brechtian in a way. I mean, it's like you see the behind the scenes, which you never see in stop motion. So
it's like
I
breaking the
just
fourth
embraced it.
wall, which normally you don't
Totally.
hear about in animation.
Yeah, exactly. You're seeing the actual hand, and I ended up getting some blue screen gloves, and they don't really key out very well. They're kind of, if you cover a piece of the thing, it'll be blacked out or whatever. So I just embrace failure, man, on like a huge level with this stuff. Like the like just like path of least resistance,
I love it.
Yeah, one of the touch points too, I'll just say it real quick, that we've talked about is Octocat Adventures by David O'Reilly, for those who know his work, and just how you can embrace a limited, let's call it, palette or tool set and still try to tell compelling stories. So for us, embracing, to Mark's point, embracing failure, to embracing limited means, but still having that background of narrative and playing with conventions of tropes and, the genre of whatever genre's picked, whether it's a rom-com or a, thriller or whatever, makes it for a fun playground of sorts that can let people in quickly. It also accommodates Mark's approach really well, which is to collaborate. So every season pairs with a collaborator, and it becomes a way for them to jump in and not necessarily be assumed to have all these skills either. But a lot of them are artists, painters, and other kinds of creatives, many of which do work in the film and television industry. And this is just a way for them to play and to cast off some of the polish that oftentimes removes the rawness that can be possible.
Chris is so much smarter than I am,
Nope.
Mark, I'm wondering if we could take a couple steps back, and maybe for those who are listening who aren't familiar with you and your art, can you give a bit of a synopsis of some of the things that you've worked on over the past years that people might be familiar with or might not be?
Yeah, sure. I hail from like a finance background, which is really funny. And I actually worked in the first .com boom, doing IPOs. And I got out and went to art school at the San Francisco Art Institute. And from there, I went there for painting. And then I found social practice, which is like, working in public essentially. And I was like, well, I don't want to be a hermetic painter. I want to go out and do things in the world. And so, some of my first projects in San Francisco, like I had a pack mule that I would do my errands on in the city to prove that I could do them more efficiently and better than people in cars. And then I also at the time was stringing 1,500 feet of extension cord. It was plugged into my kitchen, and I would daisy chain this thing all the way up to Alamo Square Park where the painted ladies were, and I would hook up a coffee maker, and it would take like 30 minutes to brew a pot of coffee because of the impedance. But I would serve free coffee for I served free coffee for a year every Saturday, and then that sort of like showed me that I could build a community around something kind of stupid like that. And I was at the time working as a photo assistant for Crate and Barrel, and we were on a job in Chicago, and the company gave me $100 a night to eat dinner, and I was like, this is so crazy. And I was like, well, what if I don't spend it? Do I get to keep it? And they were like, no. So then I put an ad on Craigslist telling people that I would take them out to dinner. And I was all of a sudden on the morning news in Chicago before work, and people were like, dude, what are you doing? and you know, the art director actually enjoyed it, and she asked me, she said, well, here's a dry erase board that's in a product shot, write something creative on it. And so I wrote dinner with Mark, and then put my cell phone number, my actual cell phone number, on this dry erase board that was photographed and then printed in this catalog and then sent to millions of people. And I started getting all these calls, and it got pretty nuts. I mean, the Today Show ended up showing up at my house, which is scary. How do they know my address? And I was in People magazine as one of the 50 most eligible bachelors. And so I traveled the country for a year having dinner with these people that had called me out of a catalog. I sold everything I owned and moved into this like fuel leaked RV. And
hold on, we can't move quite past all those fun dinners. You got to at least give us one or two stories.
Yeah, and
Well,
also you're glossing over the fact that you did all that while also not getting murdered. So that deserves applause as well.
You know, it's funny, man. Like, no, I didn't get a lot of prank calls. I mean, my phone was ringing nonstop. Like, I would just, you know, one call would stop, another call would come in, and then if I was on the phone, it would just be constant, like, call waiting. And, you know, as far as like people that were like haters, man, I didn't get a lot of them. And I was very surprised. And, you know, I mean, because my mom, of course, warned me. She's like, don't go out and get yourself killed. But like I was I had a dinner in Chicago that was really crazy. It was like, it was the mayor, and then it was the chief of police, and then a rabbi and a priest. I mean, it sounds like a joke. And there was like a poet, and there was a few painters. So it was a great, huge, big dinner. And then I had some awkward dinners. I had one with the guy that made the Britney Spears movie, which I don't even remember the name of, but he was like, okay, so I want to pitch you on the idea that you put your number in a Victoria's Secret catalog, and this is how you meet women. And I was just like, bro, I mean, you know, and we were eating fettuccine, and it was just so awkward. There was like sauce in everyone's mouths, and it was just very awkward dinner. Another one.
How was it having your number inside a Victoria's Secret magazine, though?
Well, I didn't do it. I mean, that would be, you know,
just kidding.
I'd probably just get a bunch of like dudes calling me being like, hey bro, nice job, man. Good work.
How did you
Joshua's like,
man?
well then what number did I
Joshua's
like, well then what number did I call?
Yeah, exactly. It was cool.
You're ugly, you're disgusting, I'm gonna kill you. Give me $200.
Thank you, Dr. Phil. That's really cool. So from Josh's question, just going back to that for a minute, is there any one specific dinner that stands out to you as like you'll always remember that from that experience?
Yeah, I mean, there was. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, you're plugged in. So sure. I'm curious if you were like still working, right, at Crate and Barrel. So were you selling them services, or you just genuinely wanted to meet these people and see what? Because I'm sure a lot of them tried to sell you on things too, like you mentioned the movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, as far as like the Crate and Barrel thing, like the day before I showed up on the TV show, I got a call from the CEO of Crate and Barrel, and he said, look, man, if you go on the Today Show and talk about this, I'm going to sue the living daylights out of you. And I was like, bro, you're so stupid. This is like the best thing that ever happened to your company, you know? And so I was like, at the end, we just agreed to disagree. And I said, please come after me. I mean, I literally just sold all my stuff to buy an RV with a fuel leak. So by all means, sue me to death.
For all I'm worth.
You did the Rocky sue me for what?
Sue me for, yeah, exactly. So like, I mean, as far as like people trying to sell me things, I mean, there was this one guy who like, I did have a dinner with an inventor in Michigan, and he was trying to like get me to like, whatever, sell all of his products. They were the weirdest things. And then the guy that owned, his name I think is Andrew Tisch. He owned Lowe's Theaters, and he wanted me to stay. He also owned a hotel chain and wanted me to stay at these hotels along the way. And like, I just kept it clean. I never got any sponsorship or sold anything. It was really just like the pure intent of meeting with these people. I think a really memorable dinner was in San Juan Bautista, where I was given the key to the city. The mayor like gave it to me, and I had dinner with this, like, I don't know, it must have been like 5 families. And I learned how to make tortillas, which was pretty rad. And I've kept in touch with them, and my mom actually had Thanksgiving with them once. Like, it was just like, so, I mean, as far as the relationships that I built, like, I still keep in touch with a lot of these people. And I actually moved to the town where I had one of the dinners, which is in Altadena. And so one of the people that I had dinner with is a neighbor, and I got to help her son write his college application. And it was like, it's pretty rad. I mean, it was a pretty great community.
That's really cool. Thanks for taking us through that experience. Coming back to the prop at hand, I'd love to ask the obvious question: why nouns? How did you hear about nouns, and what made you think this is something I'd like to collaborate on?
Yeah, I mean, I think nouns. I love I don't know. I love your guys' aesthetic. It's simple. It's clean. It's like, and the sort of mechanism of the DAO is like it's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, it's like a very good. It's a magnanimous approach to sort of funding projects and supporting artists, and also it's super unique. And I did a project in 2015 called Hcoin, where I developed I'll put it in air quotes, cryptocurrency that was the value was based on my mood, productivity, and sales, and you could play Snake actually to mine it. And my intent was to get other artists to be able to have their coins and then to be able to sell their work basically on their own. So like basically early NFTs. So I love the sort of approach of giving artists and creators and communities a chance to realize projects that normally would just kind of fade out, and you guys are really it's like altruism. You're giving people a chance to do things that really don't necessarily have a place elsewhere. So you're just like creating, a whole ecosystem.
Yeah, that's really interesting because, when you're talking about proliferation of the meme and like, what does that mean? And like doing things like this that like maybe don't have a direct economic return, like if it makes the brand more well known, and like NFTs allow for like a different type of way to think about these things. So it's really cool to hear that you've been involved in thinking about these things for so long, and that you're coming to our community.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Go ahead, Chris.
We got introed as well through Brennan.eth, who is a collector of some of my work. Because I show with a gallery in Los Angeles as well. And Brennan's both a crypto and NFT collector, but also physical, traditional art. And he was like, you really should talk to the Nouns. And so he really guided Joshua Fisher as well. And then, others have been very good about, just supporting us. So like just helping us understand the right way to integrate with the community so we've definitely been following it for some time and kind of growing towards something that we felt was compelling and could make sense and help expand the audience.
I think it was like pretty easy for me to see, that you were authentic about what you want to do, and the creativity is really high level, and the authenticity is really high level. So again, yeah, excited to have you here.
I appreciate it, man.
So just getting into the logistics of the proposal. So the ask is 50 ETH total. Can one of you sort of break down for anyone listening where that goes to and what's getting done for that 50 ETH?
Chris, you want to take this, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I can do it. Let me just make sure I've got it all in front of me so I can talk through it.
Candy and flowers. Candy
and flowers.
That's a lot of candy and flowers.
It's like that Tim and Eric movie. We're going to spend it on
oh my God,
makeovers. Just kidding.
Are you about to spend all this money on Crate and Barrel furniture to
Yeah, totally. I'm just going to refurnish my house and then try to restage that project and actually get sued. Yeah.
He promised a lot of people he was going to pay for their dinners over the years, and this is going to finally make a whole.
This is retribution. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Pay it backwards or something.
Pay it backwards. Yep. Pay it backwards.
No, I mean like any film or TV production, right? Like there's pre-production, so that involves all the things related to studio usage, lighting equipment. You know, the prop talks about it, but it's pre-production, production, post, and then promotion. And we had explored ways to, the balance we tried to strike was having it be season specific and not overarching project specific, because Mark's talked about too his intent to do 50 seasons. So that's roughly 350-ish episodes. So this is definitely a long-term project, probably a year and a half or 2 years, God willing. So in that realm, like, up to this point, we've put hundreds of hours into. We've already prepped and shot and edit. We're in the final editing of about 6 of the initial seasons, and have collaborated with a bunch, just trying to get all the kinks worked out. Let's say, but really, it's just the recognition that a lot of people have put a lot of time into it, and we want to. For this season in particular, make it so that it can be commensurate with what someone makes as a normal job. Like, we have people who work in the industry and they're super excited to help, and we want to bring together the right talent and also make it worth their while. And, the idea of this being a sustainable approach to original content creation is how we came to that. So we have kind of an itemized spreadsheet of production costs and, talking with different friends who are excited to help. And, it's really just helping them prioritize it too, since that's the challenge, I'm sure, with a lot of the people who've done creative projects here is it's always typically side of desk kind of work, nights and weekends, because it can't typically never replaces the day job. So we love the idea of this being more sustainable in that regard. And that's really because the Nouns, to me, functions almost like an endowment, no pun intended there, really, but just like it helps support and sustain art and artists and creation, also with the idea we want to make sure that we're giving back to the Nouns in, real ways of spreading the audience, because there's a inherited artist and art audience that Mark has cultivated over his 20 plus years as a professional fine artist full time, and all the work he's done. So anyway, bit of a longish answer, but yeah, that's kind of the breakdown.
And there's marketing in there too. I mean, there's a marketing budget, and we plan on doing some IRL events to sort of help. I don't know. I mean, just kind of cut through the noise on a lot of stuff, and that's like what I do best, is just sort of feel things out. Like, for example, like a long time ago, not that long ago, but there was dumb Starbucks in LA, and it was people were like, what is this? What's going on? And I was teaching a class at USC, and I was like teaching a class on appropriation this day. And I said, this is going to be really funny. And so I tweeted, my project's causing quite a stir, and then just put a picture of dumb Starbucks. And then all of a sudden I had like the Hollywood Reporter calling me, and like all these like tabloids and the LA Times. And I didn't return any calls or anything, but so I basically appropriated this thing, and out of it came this sort of smart piece in New York Times, the prankster pranking the pranker. And so, like, I mean, I tend to become, stay really nimble with the marketing, we were going to work with a firm called Serotonin, but they, they'll advise us, but they wanted an exorbitant amount of money per month. That was just like, it was just, I don't know how people pay that shit, man. So we're just going to kind of do this with, there's this guy, Benjamin Lasco, who's going to help us out. And we're just going to do this like this project, kind of scrappy and just sort of nimble.
Yo, Benjamin's great too. I've got a chance to work with him on some stuff, so that's exciting to hear.
Yeah, he's rad, man. I'm excited to work with him.
Can you talk a little bit more about Dumb Starbucks? Because I think that's really funny. And one of my favorite shows, Nathan For You, I believe, did an episode related to that. Can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, for sure. I know Tim and Eric. I was in an improv class with Jonathan Kreisel, who was actually the director of the show, and they produced Dumb Starbucks with Nathan For You, with Nathan Fielder. And so he actually had to come out of hiding and say that, it's his project, and had a press conference and whatnot. There was some, they were kind of like, what are you doing? But in the end, we had a good laugh about it, but it was just like, I thought it was a genius project, but, I think it was at that, it's kind of, there's this artist, Jeanette Hayes, who says like, whatever you put on the web is mine. And sort of, if you're going to put something like that out and not claim it, it's mine, and so I think just sort of planting stakes, like with the Crate and Barrel catalog, or even this project, it sort of offers these portals, that's even what this project is. It's like a portal into like an alternative reality. So I really enjoy that, like bending reality to these, having a mule in San Francisco. I mean, it's just like, that's sort of how I was raised, is just to do whatever the fuck you want to do.
It's funny that you mentioned that you have a background in improv, because when I was watching some of the episodes, that's kind of where my mind went. It was almost like, animation improv in a way. I don't know if that's how you intended it, but.
No, it's totally true. I mean, there's like, you can kind of hear us talking in the background in some of the episodes and stuff. And like, I took improv classes at Upright Citizens Brigade. And when I came to LA, they brought me down here for William Morris actually signed me as their first digital client. And so I did,
Flex.
I had a project with Sony back in the day, Sony Crackle. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but like I pitched this
movies.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. Sony Crackle, they had no idea what to do, but they had so much money. And I pitched in this idea where I would sign a map of the US, with my signature, and then drive that entire route, and then stop along the way to do these sort of like interjections. One of them was the first ever anonymous semi-nudist colony, where you would take off your pants or your shirt and wear a ski mask in this park. But Sony gave me a bunch of money, and I shot a bunch of these episodes. And so I was like working with William Morris on like early digital content. So there's a lot of entertainment in my background, and then also I make paintings and whatnot. So I also have the fine art side. So straddling that line of entertainment and art has always been something I've been on about. And it's not easy, because the art world's like, it's too damn funny. And then the entertainment world is like, it's too heady. So it's like, it's its own
damned
space.
If you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's talk about for a second how the episodes are going to be NFTs. So they're each going to be minted, and then there'll be a process for those to go to auction.
Yeah, exactly. So there will be, and we went back and forth. Like, we thought a lot about the different approaches, and as we did customer discovery and conversation, we kept aligning to the idea that we really liked, that some people had recommended, and that we dug into, which was an auction-based approach. One, because that can allow us to organically grow a community, not dissimilar to how the Nouns has done it, to where you can just, and instead of, we thought, should we do editioned video works for each episode, or should we do one-of-ones, and landing on the idea of an auction-based mechanic that allows for, both price discovery, but also a sustainable pace for Mark to launch a season and have that season over the course of a week drop a new episode every day. And at the end of one auction period, the next one launches not dissimilar to noon o'clock. That can allow for just continual momentum and engagement. And anyone who bids would also then be entered, or because obviously only one person can win a given auction, so can anyone who's bid on it through that process also be entered to win the trailer for the season, and trying to find ways to still have it be fun for everyone.
Sorry, when you say trailer, do you mean like the video trailer, or is that RV that leaks gas? Which
That's good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Depends, I guess, how much the auctions go for, what kind of trailer we're talking about.
Fair enough.
But probably, the video trailer.
Speaking of auctions, just to quickly update, checking in on the Nouns auction on nounoclock.app. 2 minutes and 17 seconds left in the auction, sitting at a price of 26.6 ETH. So curious if we'll get another bid in here. If we don't, in 2 minutes, 7 seconds.
Maybe I'm wrong. You can just say I was wrong.
You could just say you were wrong. Josh, you can chime in here just in a second. But so if this doesn't get another bid in 2 minutes, we will go over and play fomonouns together. So make sure you've got your browser open to fomonouns.wtf because we may get interrupted here at some point. Go ahead, Joshua, with your question or comment.
I have a quick question. What was the most fun so far to put nouns on? Like to put noggles on what item?
Oh, I really love the skeleton. I think the skeleton, it's between the skeleton and actually just a rock was the best thing. I mean, the rock is just like, it's so fun, man. I mean, that's what I love about these things, about the noggles. You can just put them on anything, and it's just like, I have one on some like olive oil bottle from Greece that's like pretty funny, and a rainbow, and like a Halloween spider. I mean, they're like an apple. They're all over the studio, man. It's pretty.
It's like the next level googly eyes, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's like, whatever Tom Hanks, when he was like marooned on that island, if he would have had these, it would have just been like, his life would have been a lot easier.
He wouldn't even have been trying to come home at that point. He would have just been chilling.
No, exactly. I did want to say
proposal to remake Castaway, but with an Irish volleyball.
Oh my gosh,
that would be beautiful. The whole movie. I wanted to say about the overage. There's been some questions about like, we have that contingency built in with 50 ETH, and people, and the budget is less than that, because when we did the budget, ETH was like on some wild curse, and so we would definitely refund the money. I just want you guys to know that we were gonna do, Benjamin suggested we do some behind the scenes. And we talked about using the extra funds for that, but it seems like it might cause a stir, and it's not worth it to me, just to clarify.
Yeah, I mean, that's become fairly common for people to put in a bit of a buffer for volatility, especially in recent months. So, and typically most people do return that, but I mean, it's all about transparency, I think, and just being clear.
Totally, in the future, we will have. I don't know if it's been integrated yet, but we did pass a proposal to create the like ETH to USD upon proposal.
I think it's live. It is live already.
Right?
I think I saw it as a transaction in one of the proposals, so I believe that is now live. So hopefully that won't be an issue in the future if people do want to.
You might be the last one to ever have to do this. Hopefully.
Yeah, congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Any other questions from anyone else who's on the stage here? Or if you're in the audience and you have a question, you can put your hand up and we'll bring you up on stage to ask these fine fellows questions about what they've done and what they're hoping to do with this proposal.
Yeah, also on our team, Dev Guy Things is here, and he's definitely the architect, software architect, and Solidity dev and all things expert. So he can come up too if there's technical questions.
I did send a couple invites. I sent a couple invites out his way, but he hasn't responded yet. Maybe he's not in a place that he can speak. Dev Guy, if you do want to come up, just make sure you're on mobile, not on desktop. And if you're not getting the invites, just exit out of Twitter and come back in. And usually one of those two things will fix the problem. Hopefully we can get you up here. We have had a couple bids come in since I last checked, a little flurry of last-minute activity. One from Little Nouns, actually. Little NounsDAO with a bid of 27.13. I can see Al's sheepish look on his face here on that little microwave. But unfortunately, he was outbid, or they were outbid immediately almost by 0x852. For 27.68, and now Little Nouns just came in with another bid of 28.23. So looks like it's going to be a little bit of a tussle here at the end. Are you going to give us some alpha here, Al409? How high are Lil's going?
He has no idea.
They're pushing us further into the night.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well,
we're running it
0x
through the bot now, so it always fires off with 2 minutes left.
It's all right.
We
but
like
if
it.
you guys run into milk and cookies, I have it on good
It's on
authority
Little Nouns.
that you'll get burnt.
That's right. And you were immediately responded to with a bid from C852 again. So we'll check back in here in a few, but it seems like a little bit of a back and forth between Little Nouns and a non-bidder with 76 ETH in their wallet. So somebody wants this donut bad. What's that, Ryan?
Is it bot versus bot? Like, seriously.
It was pretty quick, so it might be indeed someone using the bidder bot from nouns.sh by Winter & Co. They've got a really cool bot, if you aren't aware of it, where you can set it up to auto bid on the Nouns auction, and it does indeed seem like both of these bidders may be using it. So we'll have to watch and see. Joshua, you had your hand up a minute ago?
Well, I just posted this Creator Contest World Cup. I just want to remind everybody that that contest is still open till Wednesday. I've had some pretty cool entries come through so far. So competition is heating up, but we're looking forward to seeing more entries.
Yeah, can you do a brief description of that contest for anyone who wasn't here when you announced it?
Sure. It's a Creator Contest World Cup round of 16, where we're going to have the community create football-themed nouns art to celebrate the World Cup. And we'll have 8 winners of 0.1 ETH each. And this is going to be a contest that we're running through Creator Contest. So Creator Contest is a platform that was created by SharkDAO and Nick Dawson and the company Calibera, and it gives you the ability to submit your submissions directly on the platform, and then they get retweeted, and we get to vote, and then the payments are all more instantaneous. So I think it'll definitely alleviate some of the issues we've been having. I know that we promised we were going to announce the highlight reel today, but we are pushing it one more day. Thank you, everybody. But we will be announcing the highlight winners tomorrow. Again, so many good ones. It's just been kind of hard for us to go through everything, and we've been having some deliberation. So we'll be here tomorrow to announce all those winners.
It's so hard to choose the winners of a highlight reel competition because there are so many good contests and then so many good highlights of the entries. It makes it really hard to choose.
Yeah,
by the way,
totally.
speaking of contests, if you missed it, I just pinned up above a video compilation that we made here at the Noun Square of some of the entries to our Nouns Give Back campaign, which Non-Fungible Nikki and Hypnos ran on our TikTok. It was really cool. We had a chance to go through and pick out some imagery. So there's a video there. If you haven't looked at it, take a look at it. And then in the thread, all the winners for that contest were announced as well. So in case you missed it, you can check that out above. Anyone with any other questions for our guests today, Mark and Chris, before we go to FOMO land in about 2 minutes here?
No, not a question, but I do want to say I look forward to seeing more nounish, shareable, memeable, fun content. It's media that we can just tweet, share, take a YouTube link, send it to friends, family, etc.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do with Prop 180 as well, is create some shorts. And so I'm really excited to see, more animators come to the DAO and continue to see all this really fun content being put out.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about Noun's brand when you said make shorts. My bad.
Short.
I know it was really bad. Forgive me.
I think Goldie did do it
really good, by the way.
Goldie did put a picture of short shorts with noggles on it, so you can be forgiven for the pun. Mark, you were saying?
No, I was just saying that, yeah, I mean, this will be CC0. And so, like, whoever wants to take it and do whatever they want with it will, it will be gladly welcomed. And, I think there's a lot of memeable moments in here. I mean, these videos are so crazy. So I'm just excited to work with y'all. I mean, I think we could really do some really fun videos, man, and push them out there.
Yeah, we definitely have to get, once this stuff gets released, we definitely have to, find some fun ways to get the community involved. Like we've said, they've been, we have such a great creative community in Nouns and that, listen to the Noun Square. And I can't wait to see all the, like, out of the box. This thing's already so outside of the box, but, like, when you multiply out of the box times out of the box, like, what are you going to get? Maybe we'll get ugly boxes.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll get non-Euclidean boxes. We'll get crazy box.
Yeah, and I mean, I do think that there's like an absurdist element to what you're doing, and I've always thought of absurdism of being kind of nounish in its in its essence. So I can kind of see the mix and match of culture for sure.
Yeah, it's like Dada, it's just chaos, and I love it. And the Noggles definitely ground everything in your brand, and it's sort of perfect for that. And so I think I'm just very excited, guys, and I appreciate you having us on here.
Yeah, thank you for
Mark,
coming on to give us some context.
I'll give you like a bit of a softball fun question as well. Like, great artists typically follow great artists. So are there any, creators that you want to shout out or that you think are particularly doing interesting things right now within the space that, we should be paying attention to?
Yeah, I mean, I like, there's a good friend of mine, John Michael Bowling. He's an incredible artist, man. He's like, he's just a great digital artist. He did this thing called, Chris, what was it called?
Which one? Culture Sport?
Culture Sport, yeah.
Yeah. He's done so many things.
Dude, he's so amazing. He founded Nasty Nets, which was an early internet surf club. And then there's John Raffman, who's now a neighbor, and he just had a baby a couple days ago. He does some really cool stuff with AI and like video game art. And then I guess Molly Soda, she's always been a favorite of mine. She's nuts, dude. I love her. Yeah, and then Dan Keller is another great dude. They run a podcast called New Models, which is really good.
Nice.
And then there's this fella, Brad Trammell, who does these really cool sort of podcasts on like celebrity artists, and he's just a smart dude. I mean, I could keep going. But that's like, my wife is amazing too, Petra Courtwright. Love her. She's the best.
That was a close one.
It was really close.
We could have added her in post. It's okay. The auction's sitting at 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you're wondering why it hasn't ended yet, it's because there's been a back and forth war between Little Nouns and this Anon. So currently the Anon is in the lead with 1 minute, 19 seconds left. Not sure if we're seeing another bid from Little Nouns or not, or whether Al409 wants to tip his DAO's hand.
GG.
GG. All right. Sounds like we might have a winner here at 30.18, barring some last-minute entry from someone else. So as we mentioned earlier, if you'd like to play FOMO Nouns with us, it's a super fun game where we get to choose what the next noun will be up for auction. So Mark and Chris, if you've never played with us, we'd love for you to join us. It's a fun game. Keep our mics on here on the stage and yell at each other. Sounds like it'd be right up your alley.
Very enjoyable. Very chaotic.
Very, very chaotic, and looks like we are going in 37 seconds. If you're on nownoclock.app, you'll actually see any pending bids coming in without having to look at Etherscans. So I don't see any pending bids coming in at the moment. So 27 seconds left. Sounds like it's probably going to be a sale for 30.18 ETH. So let's put the countdown clock on.
Hey, special request. Tomorrow's my birthday, so if you see a pencil, upvote the pencil.
All right, we'll see if we can get you a pencil.
All right.
No guarantees. No guarantees. Nothing's guaranteed in this life, Sam. Especially not FOMO.
Okay.
Death and
Turn
taxes.
your mics off mute, folks. Here we go.
Except for a
Here we
sore
go.
wrist after
FOMO
Nomo.
nouns.
It's
FOMO
FOMO
nouns
time.
started.
Not a
It's
pencil.
FOMO time?
No,
Not a
it's
pencil?
FOMO
a
time.
lightning bolt, but you know,
All right,
we got
FOMO
less than
nouns.
half players.
WTF.
And it's late
Get
for
over
me.
there and help us pick. Ooh, that's
Oh,
a really
pretty
clean
Oh, that
maze.
is the
I'm sorry,
stick
that's
maze. I
really
And
voted
he's
it
got a
down.
pencil in his pocket. That's pretty cool.
I think we might get it, although I'm not sure
I
how.
think we
'cause
might get it.
9.
Yeah.
I don't know, 7 to 9.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's in the
that was
pocket.
fast. Okay. I'll take it.
That was quite amazing.
Yeah, that was
But
a
that-
fast
Now it's time for Nomo.
That was
But my
very
question
quick.
is,
Orca, though.
who will get the
That was
first
very
bid
quick.
in?
I swear it normally takes a lot longer than that, but that was very nice. Now that we minted.
That's a nice noun.
I love that one, man. It's
We've got-
amazing.
We've got 40 seconds to get to Nomo.wtf. So
All
open
right,
another
Nomo.
tab.
Oh, hey.
Everybody come
Cody,
together.
you know,
Nomo.wtf. You've got 30 seconds
Cody,
to
it's
choose your
almost,
character.
it's a maze. It's a maze,
So
so
you-
it's almost like, when you make bad decisions and you have to change your mind. There you go.
There you go. Worst case decision, you'll go in the
Which
maze.
one are you
19
going
seconds.
for?
Guys,
Are
what are
we
you going
tapping
for?
in right now?
Second, you'll get it.
I'm going
Yeah,
I think I'm going for the chick and the egg.
Oh,
Going for the chick and the egg.
Nomo.wtf.
I really like that lint ball. That's
lint ball's
that's like
really
the first one we did.
Lint ball's really aesthetic.
Chicken
Just a
gavel.
reminder,
Oh, I like
if you
this
haven't played
anchor
before,
anchor talk
you can
bubble. I'm
click
gonna
as
go for
many
the anchor.
times as you want. Give yourself carpal
going
tunnel
on?
syndrome.
Spam click as hard as you can. Try not to injure yourself, but if you do, that's a sacrifice we're willing to make.
All right. What are we going for here?
I do kind of like
I should have gone for the one with the necklace.
Oh no!
Crock pie,
I see
crock
unicorn.
pie.
That guy's gone.
A lot of people like the unicorn. I don't know. I like
Crock pie, guys.
Unicorn's good.
Click as fast as you can.
No.
This mushroom combo is so clean, though.
All right, we're doing pretty well on this on the anchor bubble.
Come on.
No! Come
Crock
on!
pie.
No! Save the lint ball! Save the lint ball!
Come on, watermelon! Oh no!
This is pretty easy.
Oh, that mushroom is so nice too. I didn't even
very
see that
feathery.
one.
Mushroom, but
Screw
No,
the
the
I
mushroom.
like the speech bubbles.
Chris,
I'm on the speech bubble. I'm sorry.
Bye-bye.
We've already got a mushroom and or a lint ball and a
You guys
unicorn. I
are
want
the
one of
worst.
these.
How
I'm
do you
going
not
mushroom.
pick the unicorn? You
This
guys
is like a
Speech
peppermint.
I'm going
bubble.
mushroom.
Mushroom, easily.
Come on, Robot Bistro.
I won't be mad with either one of these. I'm on the speech bubble though.
Speech bubble.
But we're gonna lose.
This just crashed on my phone.
Hey, look at that.
Hey, Mazel. Who wants to mint me one because my
It's a mushroom. I'll make
my
one.
ETH is stuck in a CEX.
I'll get you.
Thank you.
All right.
You
Mark,
guys literally pick the ugliest now.
how are you guys doing? Do you need a cigarette?
Bro.
Yeah, no, I'm having 4 cigarettes right now. I feel good.
Chain smoking.
Double barrel vaping.
I just think I need a mushroom right now. Is what I need.
Well, that could
Honestly,
help.
mood.
So, what is Nomo nouns? Does someone want to take a stab at explaining what Nomo nouns is? Maybe Ryan Mack.
Yeah, Nomo nouns is the last 50 nouns that weren't minted on FOMO. They shift over to the Nomo dashboard because we feel like some of the FOMO nouns that aren't minted are some of the quality nouns. We're supposed to mint an aesthetically pleasing noun, but for some reason this show we tend to still mint the ugliest noun possible, which I still don't understand.
Tell us how you really feel, Ryan. Jeez.
I just don't understand every day. It just gets uglier. So, it's fun. You pick the noun that is your favorite. You click it repeatedly with your finger. I can see some people are cheating with a mouse, clicking it twice at the same time. But that's neither here nor there.
Hey, we didn't say no double clickies, so you have to say that at the start of the game.
I thought that was established.
Ryan
from
is
the
seriously
beginning.
salty today. Salty Ryan Mack.
That's a salty mushroom, Ryan. That's a salty mushroom.
But the price starts at 0.069 ETH, and it goes up daily until the next Nomo game starts.
0.0698. That's the price of a cup of coffee at dumb Starbucks. Is it not, Mark?
It's true.
Exactly. And by minting a Nomo, you help us do what we do here at TNS. It's our first foray into some crypto native ways of becoming more self-reliant. And we really appreciate all of you who have been supporting Nomo since the start. And also, we can't spill too much alpha, but all I'm going to say is that there's a certain artist whose name rhymes with Bless Up, who may or may not be working on a special commission that'll only be claimable for people who hold Nomos in their wallets. That's all I can say. I can't say anything else. I'd give away too much.
Oh, we sent an
I have no idea what you're talking about. This is such a mystery.
Yeah, we've already sent an ETH and a half over, so it's been good.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all we had on the agenda for you guys today. It was really, really fun speaking to Mark and Chris. Wanted to thank you guys again for coming on. Anyone have any final questions or comments for these guys before we call it a night?
No. Let me know if you want a deep thought, though.
Please.
Sure. Is that like a regular thought?
Kind of.
Is that a regular thought while you're sleeping? Swimming in the deep end, or is that an actual deep thought from a normal?
Typically, it's like the deep thoughts that I throw at the Daily Show. By the way, if you guys want to know about the Daily Alpha, every day at noon, you can hang out with me and Tody. That's not every day, every weekday at noon Eastern. You can hang out with me and Tody, get some Daily Alpha, and figure out what's going on today at the Noun Square. So I really wish that a robot would get elected president. That way, when he came to town, we could all take a shot at him and not feel too bad.
Robot Fish Girl did not like that joke. It was too personal.
Yeah, kind of fishy.
Two last things here to take care of before we let you go for the evening. Ryan Mack has a POAP for you, and then we're going to do our daily retweet picker for anyone who retweeted the room. Can someone kindly pull the retweet picker for us while Ryan's doing the POAP?
I'll do it.
Sure.
Thanks, Prof. Go ahead, Ryan.
So we do a daily POAP. You can head over to poap.xyz or your phone's marketplace and download the POAP app. When you get to the app, you hit the mint button in the bottom right corner. Then you hit the secret word tab. And today's secret word is NounsDAO 00.
No 007 today?
Nah, just the easy 00.
All right, NounsDAO 00.
Spell it for me. Donut, D-O-N-U-T.
Yes, DONUTDAO 00. All one word.
DOUGH.
DOUGH. I knew you were going that way. The short.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm Canadian. All right, that's your POAP and POAP's.
Ryan, are you in the shower?
He's in the
That
tank.
That is not me.
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. There's some weird.
Maybe it's Tody.
It's Mark.
Tody's actually in the shower.
Yeah, I mean, ever since Boney joined us in the shower last week, I'm like, you know what? Why not, right? So
I'm in the hot tub, guys. Sorry,
it is
Mark. I'll get out.
No, it's fine.
It's fine.
Are you literally in the hot tub? Because if so, that's amazing.
Yeah, we have people in the pool, so why not in the shower?
Because last week we had a guest who did actually join us from the shower, so that's where all these jokes are coming from. So it would not be without precedent, but we're trying not to make it a regular thing.
Can I just ask one last question?
Yeah, please do.
Who still has leftover Thanksgiving dinner in their fridge?
If I did, it would be.
I plead the fifth.
If I had leftover Thanksgiving in my fridge, it would be a weapon of mass destruction, because our Canadian Thanksgiving was quite some time ago.
Oh,
but maybe
that's right.
Maybe one of the Americans might have some that's still edible.
Do you have that?
I don't think it's edible.
I found some potatoes today in the fridge, and it was terrifying. That's all.
Did you eat those with your raw meat?
With my raw meat.
Botulism.
Mark, how badly do you need this prop to pass? You're eating.
I need it for my medical bills, guys.
Rotten potatoes and raw meat.
I'm going to turn it all into to pay for my health care. Yes. So I
Yeah, he's not
appreciate it,
getting
guys.
crate and barrels. He's just getting barrels of corn to try to sustain himself.
All right, guys. Well, one last thing we need
Hey,
to do is
speaking
just...
of food. Hey, speaking of
Milk
food,
and cookies.
right after this show, we do milk and cookies. So come on back when we restart. But I also have a winner for you, Toady, if you're ready for that. On your retweet picture.
I couldn't
Toady,
be
did you just leave?
more ready. Couldn't be more ready.
All right, here we go. All right, and the winner is a mushroom. Satori.
Is it really?
Yep, Satori. Yep, it is.
Mushroom Satori
is the winner.
All right.
Yep. Mushroom Satori is
Congratulations.
the winner.
Sounds good.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you
See you
guys
all
so
in a
much
bit.
again. Worst case,
Thanks,
see you on the next
everybody.
show. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
It's been
you.
awesome.
Play you out with some Juice WRLD Maze.
Love it.
We'll spin this one down and spin the new one right back up again. And then you can join us for Milk and Cookies.
Bye, everybody. See you there.
Everything's okay, but it's not really okay. My life's a death wish. I'm in my pain with cold. Life's not the same.
Sam was in a hurry to go get that steak. He's gone.
I think he may have taken the mayonnaise portal.
Tell me that they can help me. I got this. Watch this. Plug my demons into the bank of life and